And indeed, what are the issues? What are the issues today? What are the issues in Liberia? What a great way to say good evening to you folks. Welcome to the program. Issues of today. Today is Thursday. And as a matter of fact, I want to say thank you, Allah, for making me to be back, for giving me the strength, for giving me the courage to come back and talk to my Liberian people. Yes, indeed, this is what I love to do on a daily basis. Giving us the opportunity, speaking to the Liberian people is what we love to do. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Issues of today on Voice of Liberia 104.1. No matter the difficulties, I always said, keep pushing. Believe in Allah. Do not allow anyone to think and tell you what is best. Do what you believe in. No matter what they say about you, no matter all the criticism, they will tell you you are not fit to do certain things. They will tell you all the negative things. And the same people you eat, drink with, move with are the ones that will backstab you during your sunset period. Be strong. Keep moving. Get close to Allah. If you're a Christian, go to church. If you're Muslim, go to the mosque. If you've got something you believe in, whatsoever religion, do what it calls for. Because this life we live in today, you never know who to trust. Good evening, Liberia. And it's good to be here. And yes, indeed, we're going to be here up to 9 o'clock tonight. And you want to invite someone to listen? You want to share the live? And it's just good to be here tonight. Too many things happening in Liberia. Too many issues. What are the issues today? And someone said, what is it on social media? You see the picture of the president and the picture of the U.S. president, Liberia president, U.S. president, and you having this mixed views. Some are saying, is that the achievement? Some are saying it is an achievement. But mind you, there were people saying that the president would not meet the U.S. president. Hey, politicians, the debate is changing on a daily basis. As we move towards the 2023 elections in Liberia, there will be a lot of things being said about people, particularly those of you in politics. We're sitting here, we're watching, and we're going to be doing the talking, providing the platform for the Liberian people. And I'm going to tell you about the issues. Trust me, I'm going to tell you about the issues. Good evening, folks. My name is Sekou Sharif, and we've converged again tonight to talk about all of the issues in Liberia. And we want to say thank you to each and every one of you for always joining us. You are the reasons why we come here on a daily basis to talk about the issues, giving you the opportunity and also allowing us to talk about the important ones. Let me give you the liner of today's edition of the program. The thing I don't want to confirm is because, but at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to have the Secretary General of the National Democratic Coalition, that's NDC for short, in person of Mr. Abraham Michel. Mr. Abraham Michel will be my guest. Mind you, on yesterday, he had a press conference and he made some some allegations. He says some other things, and we want to talk to him in depth, asking the hard questions as we move on the program. At 8 o'clock, we're going to have a hybrid specialist. And there's something that caught my attention about him that has to do with his communication he sent to me, he officially wrote me and explaining in that communication about what he can do. And I believe in promoting Liberians. I believe in giving Liberians the opportunity to prove themselves. And so I told him, I will give you 1 hour of my time on the radio free. Come and speak to the Liberian people, what you can do and how you can do it. Maybe there are other people out there, they've been faced with some of the problems he claims to know. He will be our guest, J. Apma Makamvi. He will be my guest at 8 o'clock. I'm expecting to be joined by the Controller General of the Republic of Liberia, Jangako. if I haven't, I'm gonna say, okay, we're gonna have the discussion. But I'm not too certain, but I can say I can confirm that we had a deal that he could come on the program tonight. So until then, I want to say to you, thank you for always listening, for always joining us. It is always good to do our best. And folks, there are a lot of things happening in Liberia. There's a story that continues to caught my attention that has to do with what transpired, I think, over the weekend when we went in one of the villages on the Banga Kakata Highway, where this old lady explained to us that she had a dream of owning a house. And that dream was being fulfilled based on the projects, some of the projects of the president. And I want to say thank you. That's a very good initiative. And like the lady said, he needs to do more. Now, the president of the Republic of Liberia on yesterday had the opportunity to meet with the U.S. President Joe Biden. And the U.S. president is the most powerful president in the world. And it is not the right of any presidents around the world to meet the U.S. president. It is based on merit. And so on yesterday, His Excellency President George Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, watched one of the games, Morocco game along with the U.S. president. Morocco Prime Minister with some other heads of states. I think in the picture I saw the Nigerian president and I saw Liberia president. I didn't see Sierra Leone president. I'm not saying he did not form part of it, but I did not see it. And there are a few things I want to say to people. And I'm seeing on social media, I saw a post from Senator Darius DeLong commending, it is not commendation, but it is a means of throwing some jabs or making some fun out of the form and manner of the president meeting the U.S. president. But let me say this. Inasmuch we can disagree to agree, no matter how we feel, no matter how we see things, no matter how we think things are to be, even though they are not as per our claimed belief, this is what we need to know. You be from the opposition, you be from the position. Meeting the U.S. president, having proximity to the U.S. president is something worth commending. Listen, meeting the U.S. president, having a close proximity to the U.S. president is something worth commending. No matter how you see it, no matter how you accept it, no matter how you think it should be, it is something worth commending. There were times in this country when the opposition, the folks said, President Weah will not meet the U.S. president because of the quote unquote what they term as the failure of the government. In their own words. So that means President Weah could not meet the president of the U.S. so easily. And the president did not just meet the U.S. president in passing, but it was done in a more respectful manner and a diplomatically accepted form. Listen, no matter what we do, and this is what I think we all need to do, let us criticize when it is needful to be criticized. Let us commend when it is commendable. But let us not put politics and give blind eyes to everything that happens, even though it is good. The debate of the opposition that the president could not meet the U.S. president is nothing against they are holding on. The only thing they are holding on now is the president met the U.S. president, but he did not get anything. Let us clear the first debate first. Those of you in the oppositions that had the belief or had the mindset that the president could not meet the U.S. president, you need to be telling yourself that you've defeated yourself in that manner and form, because the president met with the U.S. president. That's number one. You know, we got to do this bit and pieces. Number one, the president met the U.S. president. So there's no argument about that as to whether the president could not meet. So now, the next debate now, the opposition, they're taking now is the president met the U.S. president. They went to watch the game. They did all they could do, but they gave money to other people, and Liberia did not benefit. Listen, everything is step by step. It said that the president has returned and nothing has been said that they've done. I personally would pray that we get something from the visitation of the the president to the U.S. But at times when people are investing, it does not in any way mean that your country is not important. They look at heritage areas. For example, if your country is not faced with climate change, I'm just giving an example. If your country is not faced with climate change and the forum in which they established, it is one of the areas that they want to support, or donors, they've sent their money, and you don't have that issue in your country. So if they don't support you for that direction, that does not mean you've not lived up. Or listen, if these people never wanted Liberia to be a part, they couldn't have allowed or sent invitation anywhere. Right? That is how it is. So I'm seeing people on the social media saying, okay, the president met the man, but the president did not, the recognition. And today I was saying, I just waited for my show time. Me, I will talk it. The recognition is also important. Liberia is a great ally to the United States. If the president could not meet the U.S. president, but you could see other presidents meeting the U.S. president, that could be a problem again. They will say, oh, the president went there, he went on the merrymaking, he did not see the U.S. president. The president saw the U.S. president again. Yesterday, that is not something. The next thing they said, they gave money, they did not give money to Liberia. You know, sometimes the opposition themselves, they are some of the problems in our country. The only thing is, who tells the opposition cannot provide solutions or cannot give recommendations for solutions or cannot help in providing the solutions? It is only in Liberia that all the oppositions here, they don't care. They only care about themselves. Listen to what the business people say here yesterday. People thought that Senator Darius DeLong could be the light, even though they reached out to him to tell him about some of the problems they faced. Just because that thing is nothing to make Darius DeLong to look more powerful, Darius will not do anything about it. If that thing would be something that will make Darius DeLong to get that kind of, that kind of attention, he goes into it. That type of politics is self-seeking politics, not in the interest of the people. And this is it. We gotta listen. We gotta decide what we want. Anything somebody do that problem. Anything the other person do that problem. So what thing now will be good? Ellie went and saw the U.S. president at the time. That was not the issue. But maybe they say is generational envy. And that is how it is. But I want to say, I want to add my voice to the many voices that have said congratulations to the president and the people of Liberia. I think the meet and greet or the engagement was something very important. And I think they can make that to use some results for the country and let the Liberian people know what he brings back. Even though, Mr. President, don't go U.S. to America for free too. You go be there and you bring nothing back here too. We won't know what you're bringing back to the country. And now they're going to participate. Or somebody say, but Sekou, what kind of man you are? Oh, because I say the man that. Oh, but yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Let the truth be told. The man is the man Safi everything. Even the man what kind of feel everything. The man met with the U.S. president. How you think he met with him? How he not meet with him? The man met with the U.S. president. He met with the powerful president in the world. But that too, how can that transform in the interest, in a sense of greatness, in support, is what we want to know. Let me tell you, there are a lot of things that happen behind the scene in the diplomatic way. There are some things diplomatically, they don't just come up with it so quick. It has been done through a diplomatic means to extend, to have it to a certain level before the two countries agree to make it public. For example, maybe the president met with the U.S. president and expressed interest into something. It is not that they won't do it, but they won't just sit there and say, okay, we'll do it. It needs to go through the scrutiny and see the possibility and do the diplomatic issues about it. And that will be confirmed if only if it is something to be confirmed. But the bottom line here is the opposition said, George, we are when I see the U.S. president. He saw the man. That's the mean thing. Listen, do you know what it means? It is about a very high level. You have lots of leaders that attended to have the US president watching a game along with your president, it is something worth commending. No matter how we see it, no matter how we accept it, no matter how we think it should be, it's worth commending. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Eh? It's worth commending. Is the guess. It's worth commending. You can, so that is it. Uh, 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 you we need to say it. We need to say it. So I want to say to the government and the people of Liberia, Mr. President, thank you. But we want to hear the big good news. What your trip will bring to Liberia. You've seen all. It shows that the bilateral relationship between Liberia and the United States is even more stronger than what others think about. Yes. Okay, folks. That is it. You know, there are a lot of persons that will see it somehow and see another way, but it's just clear enough and important to say the truth. And you say the truth is good. And, you can see the truth and you don't say it. And you listen to the US Secretary of State. And he was very strong when he said, we met in Qatar, but I could not see you even though I wanted to see you. Not in between the both of them, in the public. It's something we're commending, though. I want to say thank you to the government on this. I want to say thank you. I want to say a few things before we can move ahead about this census issue. And also this what's the school name? Okay, I'll get to it. The census, I want to say it is a failed process. The census, it is a failed process. And now there, I noticed that it is the vice president that is speaking more for this census thing. Though. Don't we have people at allegiance any longer to speak? I talked to Paul Lawrence George, one of the corrupt individuals that has been involved. Right? One of the corrupt individuals that have been involved into the process. And you have the vice president, I think she spoke and she talked about the updates and how many persons they've counted. I think that this entire census, it is not proceeding well, and this could give lots of doubts and questions to the upcoming elections because the census itself is not being done well. Do you know that some of the people that work for this entire legislature, they're not being paid up to present? Some of the people have kept the results because they're not being paid. They've kept the tablets. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Some of the folks have not been paid. Some of the folks are not being paid. And it is not what we should have, because what should have happened, we were to get updates either on a daily or weekly basis, or we see the system and we know how many persons being counted, how many persons remain, and all these things. The other time we went into one of the villages on the Kipman Highway, on the Bombing Highway, sorry, and the people said, up to present, they've not seen anyone there to go and do the counting process. So, how sure are you, in fact, this entire process is going to be very, very, truthful? Because we don't know how many persons reside in Liberia. We will not know how many persons residing, or how many things, or all these things that were to be, counted and part of the census. And this is where we are. No one can give you any logical account. I'm seeing the vice president of recent struggling to provide some updates. We're moving towards elections. So they will need to do these things, not to have the too much noise or embarrassment on the head of the government. And so you see the vice president are taking over to give you to give you a census update telling you how many persons they've counted and how true it is. Where are the data? How do we know it is truth? How do we know that the problems are not stayed the way it has been? There are people who stay getting complaints. They stay holding on tablets. They stay complaining about their salaries. They've not been paid of the work they've done. And there are some people that have not sent in their reports on ground that they've not received their monies. So I don't see, and this censor thing will determine either people will trust the upcoming elections or people will not trust the upcoming elections. Take the incompetent people from the place, Mr. President. You can't keep the incompetent people in the place all the time. Why must you keep Lawrence George when his name was involved in the Corruption Act? Why must you keep Lawrence George in the same position? You make the man, you go upon the man and say he might be acting. When the man name was involved in the LCC report. See the disgraceful thing and see the embarrassing thing they brought to this country. That whole census thing, there will be no credibility. Nothing. It's not credible. Because they'll just make us feel used. They'll just put things just to convince the Liberian people. So, oh, there's the number we've carried out the counting. We've done all the process. We have this and number of persons and this number of being all kinds of blah, 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 all kinds of lies. Oh, yes. Because the foundation of the censor has been damaged. So they are operating on try and error, try to make things to work, make the international or the donors that spend their money to be much more satisfied and look at things the other way around. I'm not saying the vice president is wrong to be announcing results, but I think it's not her work to do. She has much more things to do. Instead of all be announcing census results, how many presidents and that kind of everything, then why they get Lawrence George there? Cook Lawrence George. Wow. So if the people cannot deliver, the incompetent people should be removed. Let me tell you something. The censor is something very important for every one of us that could lead us and guide us and inform us. But we cannot say anything about the census. Even when they come out with that, how many persons are going to believe that trash they can't maybe bring out? They can't say that census, that they report here, and this number of report, this number of that, this number of thing. But even we can know to get the true, the true nature of it. The foundation of this entire thing got damaged when the very first day the president made the proclamation, and that did not yield results. Do you know how many persons that could not even be patient any longer? People are doing their normal businesses. So why if, for example, you visited a home and you noticed that 2 or 3 persons were not there, and they've gone somewhere else in the bush or something else, and you check that the other time you did not see the person. At the end of the day, you won't get the person, because the day in which you were to do it, you did not utilize that day because they were not prepared, because of the incompetence of the people that were there, even though they've dismissed them, but they were to be persecuted for what they did. That Smith-VOL, he's entrenched in corruption. Yes. So now we don't know. We don't know how many persons. We don't know all the results now that we get. That we just need to accept it. Oh yes, we just need to accept it and move on with it. We just need to accept it. But I think that was not good. This census thing, we gotta be careful with it, my people. This census thing, we gotta be careful with it. It's not that good the way the census issues happen. It doesn't give a good picture. It doesn't give a good picture to the country. Oh, sorry. Okay, folks. um, at 7 tonight, like I said, we will have with us Mr. Abraham Michel, the Secretary General of the National Democratic Coalition. But mind you, we have roughly a day to December 17. It is a testing moment for the ANC. And in extension, they say the CPP, right? It is a testing moment. We will know if you get a strength. We will know if you don't get a strength. Or if you're just people, we will know. And I'm seeing the folks are on trucks around town, encouraging people to come up in their numbers for the rally on Saturday. And let me just say this to you, and listen, we're gonna be having too many things. On Saturday, we're gonna be having two areas to cover. We'll be having the ANC in extension CPP rally. We'll be having the other guys, and on Sunday, the president will be arriving in the country. We're going to provide full coverage, and all of what we do, it is free of charge. No one is giving us anything, but we're doing it because, as a media institutions, we need to inform the Liberian people about all the happenings from all over, all around. So we will be doing that. So you can rest and show you don't need to be moved. We will bring you all the happenings on Saturday from all angles, and on Sunday we'll also bring you live the arrival of the president. I hope that did will allow some of us to ask questions, though. Yeah, man, on that great, that drill. The men on that duel. The men on that duel. Yeah. But we'll be there to let the Liberian people know about the president's arrival in the country. We'll provide that free service to the government, and it is something that we'll continue to do for every one of you. Now, 10 minutes to 7, and our guests will be joining us at 7 o'clock, so we can let's open the lines and take a few of your calls on this census issue. And let's open the lines. Two things: few of your calls on the census issues, and the next one about the president's interaction with the U.S. president. 07709079070770907907078809007, 0880907907078809007. This person on the line. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Segu, I'm Andrew Moses and joined the conversation of my resident District 13. You know, Segu is somehow disheartening and laughable. That is why we have consistently told the Liberian people that the opposition is unserious. And every day they continue to show to the Liberian people that they are unserious. These are the same people that were making noise around here that since President Weah became president, he has not met with the American president. Agwagu has it. President Weah have met with the American president now. They have met on Mobisa the entire debate. They have changed it to so what we will get. So let's establish the fact that the first debate already died. That is making me American president. The men are still our American president not hawking. So that your argument that what you will get, they don't say when you go lobby, you're supposed to bring something. Sometimes you go lobby and things can be well for you in your lobbying. So you got to think that your whole argument now. But say good, last day before I leave the land. You know, they kind of a thing where I expect government official to be celebrating the information angle to be
my man, let me hold you there. Let me just hold you there. This government information arm is very fishy. And you don't listen to me. You don't blame. You don't listen. I beg you, please. You don't blame the Minister of Information or the people responsible to communicate the government information. Information is not free. How government will be going telling people to do free thing? They're not supporting the man.
Thank you, Seku. That is why you just stated. If you have competent people and people who
my man, they get competent people, but they're not being supported.
People to do their job, you will get a result you want. But the president takes one Jalawa Tompo.
No, Jalawa Tompo are good men. They're good men. Don't consider the men are good men. The men are good men. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm Charles Cooper. I call from Kingsburg.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
You see, my brother Seku, the issue of the censor, you know, the censor issue has now become like a cancer for this government and the Liberian people as a whole. And Seku, from the very onset of this censor process, we have told the government that the people that are spearheading the censor, they were not competent, but the mere fact that from the very beginning, they started to make errors. And you know, the censor data is very important to the developmental agenda of this country. Even the PAPD, the Pro Agenda for Prosperity and Development, the censor data is very important to the agenda of this government. Because it is the censor data that can inform the government to prioritize developmental issues. If you know the population of the country, those things that the population is lacking, then you can try to tackle it strategically. But the censor issue has become a cancer. And, you know, at times when you say people say that politics, you know, reality is not politics.
Okay, thank you. Let me take another person. Hello.
Hello,
good evening.
Thank you, Sebu. My name is Paul. I call from Carswell, Thompson community. So, Sebu, we have to make the discussion logical. I didn't hear any opposition member say President Weah as a president will never see Joe Biden. The argument has been, as president, since he became president, he has never, and some people say he will never receive an official invitation on Washington. Where
so how do you reconcile your two statements that you say you did not hear it and you say people said it never? How do you reconcile that?
That's why I say because the logical last the conversation. A logical man will not tell you that our president would never see another president. I am saying I heard him say President Weah has never and will never receive an official invitation before Congress. That has been the argument. We all know the previous president, Madam Salif, and other presidents, how they were welcomed, how they were invited by the American government or the president. We all know that presentation, how it appeared. So we cannot allow misguided people to speak out and make wrong information in the public. Some of the people.
Okay, thank you. Let me take another person. Hello. Yeah, good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, my name is Shaq Biggest, and I'm joining from I would first of all like to appreciate the American government and the president. Mr. Biden for giving $165 billion to 5 African countries for our election. Mr. Sherry, I would like to say this also. You're saying that the opposition, they can just criticize what they can recommend. I want to say this to you, that you yourself, you strongly believe, you have that belief, and you know that this man is not a listening president for good.
So have you recommended? Have you provided?
There are several recommendations that the opposition made to join.
In which one of the instances?
And he never listened. Thank you very much. At that time, listen, I would like to take this to your very self. Probably at that time,
my man. Go to the but then don't say you want to take it to my verse.
I'm going to the discussion. Because when my girl was misbehaving, Nathaniel Petro, and if it's somewhere square, you know the recommendation. You know the recommendation of the opposition.
What was the recommendation?
They asked the president to fire those that were
also that is solution there, right? To fire somebody, right?
So okay, thank you very much.
That is solution there, right?
That's the recommendation because
I beg you, man. That recommendation there. Hello.
How you doing?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. And you say you want to go to a farmer.
My man, I'm getting anything from you. Yeah, go ahead now.
Yeah, I'm saying you have your children, they are all hungry. And there's a farmer somewhere. You want to go to this farmer. But when you go to the farmer and meet this farmer, all your children expect is when you come in, you should bring something for them to eat. Right? So going to America, meeting President Joseph Biden.
Oh, that one not anything, eh?
Meeting is not a thing, right? But at least we need something that
my man, you're not understanding the topic. So the people say the man will not meet the man. The men not meet the men now. So what the next topic now? Another thing again?
Now the censor, right? So what you were saying, this censor issue, you said we must just leave it. We must just accept anything. When you accept anything, it can be very dangerous in your life. Not just anything you have to accept.
No, I so much accept anything. I say it will not be correct. The whole censor thing are vla.
Now we are vla, my brother. Now vla. We're not expecting anything. No, it will be like if you do democratic, that's going to go garbage in, garbage out. And this is what we're going to get. You're not getting no good result, my brother. Up to now, people say, "What is censor?" Will you imagine? You are comparing in 10 days time.
Some of the people not even get a report yet. The people didn't get a mark.
I was even surprised. I listened to the vice president. As issue, the spokesperson, for the censor. That is why you almost got 4 million population. What you got, the young for. But anyway, let's leave it. And let's see how bad.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take this other person here. Hello.
Hello, Sherry.
Good evening.
You treated me like a star chat now.
Sorry, Papa.
You know me make my point.
Sorry, Papa. Go ahead.
I was talking, you cut me off. That's what I Shaq Biggest Junior.
Okay, Papa. Go ahead. Do a quick one now.
Okay, let me do a quick way. Mr. Sherry, let's further speaking, let's talk to the opposition. Even the last time, as much I don't love Mr. Kumi, but Mr. Kumi even wrote an open letter to the president that resorted to her confrontation in between he and the president.
What was the open letter? It was challenged. The men were challenging the men. The men said, can't be that. Open letter. What solution was in that thing?
About recommendation.
Okay.
The first open letter was about recommendation. The other one hello?
Yeah, let me take the last caller. I beg you, yeah? Our guest is already here. Hello?
Hello, Segu?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm okay.
Good. Let me just be brief, Segu, and that has to do with this censor thing. Segu, this censor thing is nothing. The statistics that is being read by the VP is not realistic, and I think it's not a VP position to come to announce these things, especially when the numbers she's giving, they are not right. Segu, I speak to you. Not a single person came to my house to check me. We are like 6 or 7 in our house. So what happened to that number?
Nobody checked you.
I'm telling you, nobody has checked us. Nobody came to my house to check
counted.
Nobody was counted in my place.
Wow.
So how can you come out with such figure, my brother?
So I'm just discouraged myself. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah? Sorry. Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but my name is Edwin Timova, calling from Cooper Farm, to be precise, Marine Base.
Okay, Edwin, go ahead.
Yeah, bro, Sheku, when I see people dignifying the meeting of President William to Joe Biden, I look at it to be nothing. Even if if it were you, Sheku, in that position as president, you can be there with any world leader. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want people to dignify that. What we look up to is how well Liberia will improve, how the common the common people will improve in this nation. Not to be dignifying George Weah meeting, Joe Biden.
No, the people say the man could not meet the man, so the man met the man. That the news. Let's be honest.
Real.
When the good thing happen, and we'll talk about the censor thing, but they want hear that the dread thing, the man met the man. So what the opposition get to say now?
Let me be both to you. It was not the idea that he can't be there with world leader. The argument is that they
okay, they say they were not saying invitation. Okay, they want what they say the men are what?
For example,
they want to send the men an invitation.
I will put the size on that.
Let me take the last person now. My guest is already here. You will be calling and say hello.
Yeah, Sheku, the money is Oliver was to me from Chicago to make this out.
Oliver, go ahead.
Let me take you to a show. But Sheku, I think let me go with you to see the issue.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, as the vice president said, just going at the moment, he said that the things are going 75%. So we still have 25% we need to be considered. So it will stay there from now to Saturday. So I think by you saying that the finger is I think it will make people not to believe the finger as a media person.
Okay. Thank you. You hold your calls now. My guest is already telling you all. Hello.
Hello, Sheku, how are you?
You the last caller now, no matter.
Thank God I'm the last caller.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say quickly.
Yeah.
As old as we are, we're supposed to be making use of every second that we have. An important decision that we will be discussing. The money that people talk about dividing to 6 African countries, we can get it from right here, Cape Mount bombing. All right?
How?
We're talking about reality on the ground. We got more than 6 million, 100 million on the ground here. Then we're going to go beg the people who exploited us for the past years. What is that something to rejoice about? It looks funny to me. Use your time for something else. Discuss about the environment. Discuss how people are robbing this country on a daily basis. Millions are living today this country. That we should be discussing on our radio. Calling people to defend their resources and environment.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of discussing somebody go take a picture and come here. After all, when they get that money, they come back here again for the past.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We can continue. Hold your calls now. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your calls. Like we announced on earlier on the program, at about this time, we're going to have with us the Secretary General of NDC in person of Mr. Abraham Michel. Mr. Abraham Michel was very firing on one of his press conferences recently. And we thought to invite him and ask him some hard questions here tonight on the program. And he has joined us on the program. We're going to have a fruitful discussion up to 8 o'clock tonight. Mr. Michel, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you very much. And we're very delighted to be here. Okay. It's been a very long time since been on the radio talk shows,
okay,
etc.
Okay, how you been faring? You know, when you listen to the name Abraham Michel, you think about, past governments and some of the things that occurred. You want to share with us before we go in detail of our discussion, some of your experiences you've had with the past governments in country?
Oh, thank you very much. I have a long history of struggle, like many colleagues of mine from the progressive background in Liberia. I was a student leader at the University of Liberia as far back as 1980 as vice president of the student government under the Kier Mitchell arrangement. In fact, It was on the eve of the induction of the Keir Mitchell administration at the University of Liberia that the 1980 coup occurred. And so right on our induction, we were involved in a battle with the military regime. I remember candidly the military head of state Samuel Doe, after receiving massive supports from the entire society, the students' union had not been in the rush to declare support. So President head of state Doe made an unannounced visit at the university, went to the university boys' dormitory, Samuel Greenleaf, and you wanted to know who are the student leaders here. And Dr. Kier, George Clay Kier, who is now Dr. Kier now, arrived along with the other executives. And we said, well, we are the leaders of the also government. And he said, but why is it up to now? The coup has taken place more than a week, and you people have not announced support for me. Is that an indication that you're not supportive of the government? We said, no, we will not just follow the bandwagon, but we're watching the situation, and at appropriate time, we'll make our declaration. And from then, the process started. But as a student leader, I fell in trouble with the military government. Like many of my colleagues, I forced into exile. I stayed in Ethiopia for 10 years. I returned in 1991 during the course of the war because I was so sick of being in exile, tired. I wanted to come back home. I thought I had, in 6 years in exile, I have acquired a lot to contribute to the country. So I came back to Liberia in 1991. And while I was here, the coup took place in Ethiopia, and Conor Mengistu was overthrown. I couldn't go back, and I lost everything. But since 1991 up to now, we've been here in Liberia, and we've been working very hard in a progressive democratic space. Work very closely with the development and the establishment of the New Deal movement, and the New Deal movement participated in the 2005, 2006 elections, and they didn't come up well. And since then, we've been in crisis. But the New Deal contributed to the formation of the National Democratic Coalition under due Triangle Amazing, in which Mr. Louis Brown was chairman and I was secretary general. That is as far back as 2011 and up to now. So, but we've been thrilled. We've been moving quietly. In 1997, the NDC supported Vice President Joseph Walker extensively in those elections. And
as what?
We supported him for his presidential bid in 2017.
Okay.
In 2017, and of course, I was very forceful and strong in the support of Vice President Boakai from the NDC perspective. He didn't succeed, and in the process, Ambassador George Manuel was elected as one of the sons of this country between Boakai and George Manuel. But the win of either of which would have been a win-win situation for us progressively. So then the choice was, what do you do? Well, I was always at the Ministry of Justice as far back as 2012 under Mr. Sirleaf's government as a legal counsel and a security sector expert working for the Ministry of Justice. And then by 2020, I turned 65. I had to be retired.
Okay.
Yes. And so when I was being retired, the current Minister of Justice and Attorney General called me and said, Mitchell, we cannot allow you to go. We need your service. And I said, okay. They wanted to give me a consultancy, but then the Deputy Minister of Justice for Codification appraised the Minister of Justice that there was a position of Assistant Minister for Codification that had not been touched since the CDC government had been in power for 3 years. It was there, and then a letter of recommendation was written to the president asking me to appoint me as Assistant Minister of Justice for Codification.
Okay.
And that is how I became Assistant Minister in the CDC government.
Up to present?
Up to current.
Okay.
In the Ministry of Justice. But when we come to discuss some of these critical
you speaking
issues,
in the capacity
as
of the Secretary
as a
General
Secretary General,
of.
I speak as Secretary General, not necessarily as a position of the party, but I'm an individual. I have my views, and the party has never made any decision for me to speak on critical issues that you want to discuss with me on. Notwithstanding, I have my fundamental
But you had a press
rights.
conference?
Yeah, I had a press conference in that capacity as Secretary General, but not on behalf of the party. That's a two distinction.
Okay.
And I take full responsibility for everything I say and said as an individual, as a political actor, participating in a political space and making my contribution to the country as required at this very critical juncture. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for honoring our invite to come and speak on, like you said, you had a press conference on yesterday, and during the press conference, you made lots of allegations, and you said lots of things on yesterday. Do you care to share with us the entire, foundation? How did the NDC come about? How did Mr. Louis Brown, serve the position as chairman, you Secretary General? How was the formation all about? Was he a founding member?
Oh, good, good question. Yes, the NDC is an offshoot of what was the DA, Democratic Alliance. And in the Democratic Alliance, Brother Louis Brown was the chair, and the DA gave birth to the NDC, and he became the chair. Why he served as chair of the DA? He asked me. He and Ambassador Dew Mason asked me to serve as Secretary General, replacing Deacon Kala, who was initially the Secretary General of the DA on an ambassador.
When you said
Brown.
DA or
Democratic Alliance.
Democratic Alliance.
I'm saying Democratic Alliance was the initial platform.
Okay.
Democratic Alliance then metamorphosed into the NDC.
Okay.
And the NDC then became a coalition, National Democratic Coalition. And then Louis Brown was the first chair. In the process, Louis Brown decided to resign as chair of the NDC to go to the Unity Party, where he served as.
No, before we go to that, I want to understand the workings when he served as the chairman of NDC. What did you people do in terms of running the party day-to-day activities? How were things being handled? What was his track record as to how he served the NDC?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yes, as chair of the NDC, made up anticipated political parties almost a total of 10, 12. Including the NPP, including the MPDL, National Democratic Party of Liberia, the NDPL, including Grassroots Party, including many other parties. But Brown did not come from any party. I think he was an independent candidate. He didn't come from the NPP. The NPP were represented by now Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, Sando Johnson, and T.C. Gould, Litt, and many others. The NDC was a coalition of forces that were very poised and determined to compete in the 2011 elections against the incumbency of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So Ambassador Dew Mason was the presumptive political leader, and he actually became the actual political leader of the NDC through the New Deal movement. And when the New Deal movement elected him at a major congress at the YMCA, and so with the New Deal, serving the New Deal as its political leader in the NDC, he was endorsed by the NDC as the political leader of the NDC. Now, it came to a point when the collaborating parties within the NDC came to the conclusion that Ambassador Mason did not seem to have the kinds of financial capacities that was required to have the NDC manage a robust campaign against an aggressive incumbent in person of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So many of those parties decided to disengage, and the NDC was virtually left with the New Deal movement, the Free Democratic Party, and other associational groups within that. Well, in terms of leadership of Chairman Brown over the NDC, as head of the NDC, I think he was up to the task. He was ready to lead the NDC in the election against President Sirleaf. In fact, prior to his chairmanship or during his chairmanship, he was very, very robustly critical of President Sirleaf and posting as a formidable force and a leader in the NDC to lead the NDC against President Sirleaf in 2017. But we had series of meetings. The NDC executive had series of meetings at Chairman Brown's house, and those meetings centered around whether or not political leader Ambassador Dutron Mason had the requisite financial resources to run a robust campaign. And when it came to the real, and where the point is that the information was that the people told Ambassador Dutron Mason that if you put any money in that coalition, it's going to be like putting water in a basket that has so many in a bucket that has so many holes. You're not going to get the dividends that you anticipate. So from that situation, Drew Mason withheld. In withholding resources from the NDC, many of the members who would have been member of the NDC for the 2011 election decided to abdicate, to abandon their position in the NDC, and
including
they left.
Ambassador Louis Brown.
Oh yes, so most of the parties left in about a day or two. Ambassador Brown went to Ambassador Mason and told him, "I'm leaving." He told me, Secretary General Mitchell, "I'm leaving," and so he left. He left. He didn't tell us he was leaving, going where or what, but he finally left, and eventually he got caught up in the Unity Party.
Okay, the reason why I ask you such question is because coming from the NDC, you must have known Ambassador Louis Brown more than most of the people that will say things about him today. On yesterday, part of your press conference, you were very strong about some of the issues, talking about the upcoming rally of the CPP and that of the Alternative National Congress, with the understanding that we tire suffering. That's the word in which they're saying to the Liberian people that Liberians are suffering. First of all, what do you make of such, mash or whatsoever that is coming from ANC and the messenger impression of Ambassador Louis Brown?
Thank you. I think the question is well put and well understood. I'm a student of law, and I have rich experience in the struggle in Liberia. And I believe that we have a democratic space. As a student leader, as I said, when we took over in Liberia, the military had just taken over. We were inaugurated on April 11. The military coup took place April 12. So in no time we had to hawk the military hyena. Now, so we fought for democracy in Liberia, Before the 1980 coup, we had an unconstitutional one-party state, dominated, controlled by the Truitt Party. And it was that struggle we fought that led to multi-party democracy. The basis for this is that I strictly adhere to multi-party democratic tenets, processes, procedures, and all in all its givings. I believed in the rights of every Liberian to exercise their constitutional right, particularly within the limits of basic fundamental rights, free speech, association, conscience, the right of conscience, and you name all of those. And so, generally speaking, I will be the first or the last to be in any way opposed to people exercising their fundamental political rights.
And then what's the problem with it? Because yesterday you said,
yes. But let me I'm setting the space. Don't worry. We're coming to that. But from our own experience historically in Liberia, particularly from the 1979 Rest riots and the consequences thereof, which led to the 1980 coup and onward to the Civil War. And you know how brutal the Civil War was. The post-conflict political space that we have in Liberia is very delicate. And don't forget, peace is not necessarily the absence of war and bullets. Peace can be obtained, but the nature of the peace and the level of fragility of institutions, democratic spaces, and what have you. So there are certain activities and propositions, not only by civil society and mass movement and civil trade union movements, but political parties have constitutional right to exist. The rights of existence and functions of party are provided by the organic law, the Constitution. And the fundamental rights of political parties and their existence is to acquire political power through constitutional processes. I mean, through elections and other things. When political parties who are actors in the space to take state power have those fundamental rights, the way they conduct themselves and the implications of their conduct in various forms and shades create the condition based on the particularity of the situations. What do I mean by this? We had a situation was it in 2020 or 2021 with COP and
protest?
Yeah, protest.
June 7?
June 7. There was this concussion, COP, Council of Patriots, supported by the CPP, this current CPP. At that time, all of the parties were part of the CP, and they were calling for protest. Now, and the protests were carrying mixed messages: change, regime change, peaceful assembly, save the state. Now, regime change, save the state, peaceful assembly. These are concepts in political theory that are fundamental. And when you say you're going for peaceful demonstration, you call it for regime change. Regime change through peaceful demonstration. That's a contradiction.
No, there was nothing mentioned as regime change.
No. You're wrong. You are wrong. You are dead wrong. We have the facts.
Were there things mentioned
yes.
regime change?
Oh, yes.
By the CPP at the time?
Well, there were mixed messages from that block.
Okay.
Yes. And that was very, very terrible. And during that time, as Secretary General, I had to speak for on behalf of the party and sending a caveat. Now, I don't know whether or not the current plan for We Are Tired rally is an extension of the June 7 or is a complementary element of it, but we have some apprehensions.
What's your fear about We Tired Suffering? What are the things you've sensed about this entire We Tired Suffering rally?
Listen, the arrangement, the phraseology, We Tired Suffering. Well, anybody can coin anything. Who are we that are tired suffering? Suffering of what? What are those things?
Suffering of the
from?
poverty in the country, which they claim.
Very good. Suffering from poverty.
Hardship.
Good. Unemployment.
Lack of needed, support by the government.
Needed support in what context?
In all forms.
No, be specifics.
In all forms. The government is to provide an enabling environment. So it could be education, it could be health, it could be security, it could be the rule of law.
Infrastructure.
So in all forms.
Yes. Good. And anybody can make the presumption that none of those things exist from your political perspective. And you can use that as a basis to agitate, to propagate, to rally, and to demonstrate. Now, but the point here is this. We are not against people coming up with their views about what they think about the government that runs their country. We are not opposed to the views of people exercising their constitutional right to speak against the government. We're not opposed to that. But when a political party that should be a government in waiting, particularly in years of elections, decides that it chooses a particular time to create an environment and play on the emotions of people and not their conscience, and then you make statements in your pronouncement, there are conflicting indications, signals that what you intend to do is not going to generate the kinds of capacity or lead to the enforcement and enhancement of the peace and security. Many of us who participated in the Accra conference that led to the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, we have a moral obligation to sign in caveat here and there where people want to exercise, particularly political parties.
And Liberia is not suffering as it has been claimed by the folks from ANC, the likes of Louis Brown and the other people. Don't you think Liberians are suffering looking at the promises the government made to the people? She has failed on some of the promises, like it has been claimed by the likes of Louis Brown and other people?
Look, and this is where my problem is. The Liberian people are suffering. They put that in context. He said, and in my discussion, suffering from poverty. In 12 years, the Unity Party presided over this country, and it introduced 3 major development plans. Poverty reduction strategy 1, poverty reduction strategy 2, and if you like, the agenda for transformation, the 7 years agenda for transformation of Liberia. All of those programs were intended to reduce poverty in Liberia. Are you understanding me? For 12 years. Incidentally, many of those who are claiming today that the people of Liberia are suffering, they participated in that government and presided over their poverty reduction strategy 1, poverty reduction strategy 2, and the agenda for transformation, which was a 7-year program. The question is, do they have, first of all, did their programs reduce poverty in Liberia? And the current dispensation came and eradicated the reduced capacity of poverty and brought in more poverty compared to what the previous government did, for which now there is the acclamation that before the CDC came to power, the assumption is there was no poverty, nobody was hungry, the country was built on milk and honey, and everything was rosy. And then since the CDC came to power, the whole idea of suffering and poverty and bad governance have surfaced in.
But the government
and the point I want to make, if student leaders trade unions, civil servants, civil society organizations that have not been political actors in the political space presiding over the state, if they are the ones that are making these claims, one can understand adequately and understandably. But the point I want to make, and which I really referred to as political parties trying to take advantage of the vulnerability of the Liberian people, their difficulties, based in the face of economic hardship, in the face of unemployment, which are all historically fundamental problems that have been part and parcel of the Liberian state since its inception, in particularly after the Civil War. Many of these people today who are participating or trying to gesticulate and formulate the feeling that they care for Liberia, and when they take over, the problem of Liberia will cease to exist, and that without them the problem cannot be solved, and that it is they who can solve the problem. But these people were actors in the war, actors in the civil war, destroy the country. We're going to go that. We're going to reach to that. Mm-hmm. But the point here is, as a political leader,
who are those?
We'll come to them. Mm-hmm. As a political leader, and a very one actively involved in the space, having seen 1979 rice riots, where we as student leaders that got caught up in those processes, I don't like to see any political actor, any political leader engaging in politics from the perspective of demagoguery, which is to play on the emotion of people, make dividends from their suffering, and then use that as the basis, if you like, to thread on shortcut to power through breakdown of law and order. And these are the kinds of things that we are afraid of. And so when people bring these kind of things...
Who do you think is trying to do this?
I told you the history of political parties in Liberia.
How can that be connected to what the people are saying with dire suffering?
And the question of demonstration. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you.
The people are not demonstrating, they are rallying according to them.
In 1979, there was the presumption that the demonstration would be peaceful. In 1979, there was the presumption that the demonstration would be peaceful. In June 7, there was the presumption that the demonstration would be peaceful, and thank God it was peaceful and it did not end in any chaos. But my disposition is, when you are a political party and you are a political leader, your preoccupation, particularly as an opposition party, your preoccupation should be about formulating the kinds of policies on education, particularly on the economy, which is the nerve center of the crisis in post-unmail, post-war crisis in Liberia, the economy. Now, if you cannot formulate the kinds of programs to educate people on what is the economy, why you think the economy is what it is, such that every regime that comes to power in this country fails to address the economic situation in this country, and how and why you, in opposition, have a very fine agenda as an alternative to shift the Liberian economy from its current obsolete stage to a new paradigm shift in which the economy can be arranged.
Any opposition is a government in waiting.
Should be a government in waiting.
And you have those of the people that believe in the opposition. At times they complain, and there are leaders who listen to them. It is just in the case of what ANC, in extension, the CPP, they're saying that Liberians are tired suffering. Liberians might have complained to them about their tired suffering, and there's a need to have such a rally.
Yeah, sounds good. Liberians are tired suffering. It's good.
What is it that is not good?
So what does the rally do to stop the suffering?
Maybe to allow their voices to be heard.
No, that's not enough.
What do you think should be done?
You know how many radio stations we have in Liberia that have been talking about suffering and corruption? Has it solved the problem? to hold one rally at the SKD with tire suffering. So how does it bring about jobs? The point I'm making, if you are a political party, don't engage in jargons. Don't engage in platitudes. Don't play on the people. Don't play on the emotions of the people. I'll tell you something. Do you have any economic platform of Alexander B. coming and CPP on at your decks as a radio manager? I talk about economic platform to dissect the economy.
They said they have the solution.
No. They say, do you have? Because the presumption is that, according to what the CPP, the ANC, and other people are saying, the CDC has failed. President,
is it not true the CDC
no,
has
that's not
failed?
the issue. That's not the issue. I'm saying what they said. President Weah has failed. He's incapable. He's incompetent. He's incapable of providing leadership for the country. Everything about the CDC governing and presiding over Liberia is useless. And Liberians should change. Now, let me tell you, when you make those kinds of categorization, and you present yourself as a prophet, and you present yourself as the cleanest, the nicest chick in town, you present yourself as the Messiah, you present yourself as one who have all the solution to the problem. We want to know, for me, as a student of politics and political theory and law, any political party that wants to take state power, we into less than 10 months into elections. But now we should have the economic agenda of the ANC for Liberia when it takes state power. And because I am interested in the economy, and are there any of them in any of the parties in the opposition? They don't have any clear-cut, well-defined position dissecting the Liberian economy and laying out the essentialities that constitute the basis for the repeated failures of regimes. We have changed governments in this country from President Talbot, from President Doe, from Charles Taylor, from Wamabo, Ruth Sando Perry, Sangawolo, Charles Taylor, Alhaji Kroman. All of these people have been in government. We've had all of these problems. The fundamental problem of the Liberian economy has never been touched. For President Sirleaf, as an international Western trained economy, was in power for 12 years. The fundamentals of the Liberian economy, which makes it impossible for the young people to graduate from university to have jobs, an economy that is incapable of providing employment opportunity and skilled jobs for its citizens. Now you have to ask me, what are those essentialities of the Liberian economy?
I won't ask you that question.
Which many of these people have not been able to dissect and provide for the Liberian people.
I won't ask you that question, but I'll ask you this question. I will ask you this question.
Go right ahead.
I heard you talk about the very same people that are claiming that Liberians are suffering are the ones that brought war in this country. Who are those?
I don't need to be name calling.
You seem to be afraid?
No, that's not, but I got to be a little bit professional. I don't seem to, because the issue is so obvious. But the point is this, they were institutions.
Are you referring to ANC political leader, Alexander Cummings?
You want me
Did he bring war in this country?
You cannot extract him.
Are you talking about Louis Brown?
You listen.
Who are you referring to that?
Okay, let me
firstly, and they brought war in this country.
Let me firstly deal with the institutions. You understand? Because the institutions matter.
Okay.
Then from those institutions, then you can do your extrapolations. You can now determine who were part of those institutions. For example, after the 1980 coup, there was a group of Liberians called Association of Liberian Democrats, ACDL, based in the United States, led by President Sirleaf. You understand? Former President Sirleaf. Jumonte, who was Senate, I would just get his name. Many of those called themselves Liberian constitutional Democrats based in the United States. The Constitutional Association of Constitutional Democrats, ACDL, eventually created a military wing which became the National Patriotic Front of Liberia. Mr. Charles Taylor was serving his conviction in jail. Through the influence of the ACDL under the leadership of President Sirleaf, Charles Taylor was released from jail. Now I'm discussing the institution, and then, but in the process, I have to be discussing individuals now. So the ACDL was led by two leaders. The political leader was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The military leader was Charles Taylor. The ACDL was formed. Before the ACDL was formed, President Sirleaf launched her invasion into Liberia in 1985 through Thomas Kuyongba and others, with the view to topple the Dole regime. The failure of that coup provoked the failure of the 1985 coup provoked the Civil War, and all of these came about. So you see, historically, many of those who were associated with the NPFL, Charles Taylor and his group of intellectuals. I'm coming to you. And
who were those that were involved with NPFL?
Hey, the bucket is.
Who were those? You can just mention few.
My friend, the bucket.
But that's an open secret that you need to say.
Yeah, well,
who were those?
But the point of this debate.
We need to know the historicity of some of the things, and as we move to know the actors of today action.
Yes. So I'm telling you.
Who are those part of NPFL?
The GOL, the NPFL was part of 3 warring factions that went to Ghana during the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. You understand?
I'm not talking about
the
entire process.
I'm getting you. I'm tracing you to the process. In that the delegation, in that process, Councillor T.C. Gould, Blambo Nelson, Edwin Snow, and many of these guys were part of the GOL delegation. I understand Ambassador Louis Brown were also part of that GOL delegation. We've learned and Model, and the 3 warring factions. And the formula of the GOL, the formula of the GOL was that Charles Taylor will remain in power. The formula of the GOL NPP delegation was Taylor will remain in power, and the various warring factions should become ministers in the new comprehensive peace agreement. And that was debunked. I was in Ghana, my party, the New Deal, we debunked that.
So in short, are you saying that Ambassador Louis Brown and the likes of others were the ones that brought the untold suffering to Liberians?
No, you're trying to twist my logic of reasoning to overly simplify it and personalize it as if I came to this studio to attack Louis Brown. I want to put my debate in general proper context. You asked me, did you mention Louis Brown in your press conference? I said, yes.
You did?
Yeah, fine. If you want me to say
and you
what
said
I said,
strong things about him.
And if you want me to say what I said, then you can ask me those questions. Well, you don't come ask me, are you saying that Louis Brown participated?
Why do you think that Louis Brown is not the person to complain about things that Liberians are faced with currently in the country?
Because he has been part of the process of the destruction of this country, the failure of prior governments through the NPP, that after its election in 1997, President Taylor had the opportunity to reform Liberia, but what he sought to do was to chase his opponent, kill the Dokis and other people.
Who killed the Dokis?
Oh, the Taylor's Gestapos.
But by that time, you had Ambassador Louis Brown. Was he part of it?
Are you kidding me? You don't know what you're talking about? Are you kidding me?
I'm asking you.
Are you kidding me?
I'm asking you.
But yeah, but then
I'm asking you a simple question.
Are you kidding me?
By that time, Ambassador Louis Brown was part of
Ambassador Louis Brown in the NPP government? You don't know the role he
Was
played?
he part of the government?
You don't
I
know.
don't know.
You don't know the role he
I
played?
don't know.
Ambassador Brown was one of the major policy makers in the NPP government under Charles Taylor, including Charles Bromskin, who was a senator for and president pro tem, including many others, Tia Faculty, Nyiswa, and others who's and Christian Herbert,
and, so
and many former student leaders who became the intellectual kingpins of the NPP.
Are you suggesting that the likes of Louis Brown and other people were the ones that orchestrated the process to have the Dorkies killed?
Why do you ask such a question in such what I would say a vicious way?
It is how I would.
No, don't do that.
No, I would do.
No, I said the NPP-led government under Charles Taylor was elected in 1997, and Charles Taylor had the granite opportunity to reconcile the country and move the country forward. What did he do?
Which you said he didn't do.
He didn't do. He decided to chase his opponent, and this led to the formation of LERD to resist
his actions at the time.
Of course.
And so I'm asking you now.
So I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
So it means that was orchestrated by the likes of Louis Brown
and many others. They were architects. They were policy makers. Louis Brown was national security advisor to the president. Work at LPRC. You know what is LPRC within the political economy of Liberia? Now, I don't want to deal with Louis Brown as an isolated factor.
No, it is important.
I'm dealing with him within the context of the general. These were the active participants. You understand? And the war is over. Mr. Taylor
but the records are there.
The records are there. Mr. Taylor is in jail. And I don't think we need to hinge on people's records in the past, what they did or what they didn't do.
No, but why do you think people cannot be proud of the records?
No. But where we are now, when we are now in a new dispensation where we want to move the democratic space forward, and people in political actors engage in political activities that amount to incitement, that amounts to falsehoods, that amounts to fabrication, that amounts to distortion, and that paint other people to look very ugly than they are. And then people now want to go back into the cluster to say, but hey, who are these people? This is the context in which we're trying to now see, but who's on the stage talking? Do you have any moral rectitude to talk about the suffering of the people when you were politically actively involved in a major warring faction that destroyed the country irreparably, looted the country, plundered the country under Charles Taylor? The central bank was based at his white flower, and people made fortune out of the suffering of the Liberian people. Then you come today and present yourself as an angel or as a pope who from the pope from Rome, as a pope from Rome, and that you're righteous, and that others.
That was just in the past.
That is just in the past, and that brings us. You asked me, how is Cummings? Cummings was vice president of a major transnational corporation, Coca-Cola.
And he did serve well.
That's not an issue.
What's the issue?
Thanks, he served well, and he may have acquired some experiences, and so he's back in Liberia.
In which he has his right to participate in the politics of Liberia.
He does have a right to participate in the politics
of
Liberia.
What's the wrong into it?
So long he has some of the requisite constitutional standing. That's the point. The point is, Cummings is not an angel. He's not righteous. He didn't drop from the sky. He's not flawless. Neither is Louis Brown. Neither all of us who are actors in the space. Now, when we do politics and we want to win the hearts and minds of the people, and we present ourselves as angels, as born-again Christians, as righteous men and women, have no flaws, and that everything about others are bad, particularly the incumbent, and then you try to present yourself to the Liberian people as a flawless alternative. This is dangerous. This is opportunistic. And this is what I don't like. I like for people to be realistic. I like for people to conduct themselves in ways that any people understand. But I can assure you, if you go and dig into the records of Mr. Cummings is not free from all the flaws and the categorization of the Liberian Civil War, particularly linked with Charles Taylor. And
listen.
with Charles Taylor and the plunder of our country and the suffering we went through in this country.
You people, and I'm sitting listening to you. You said if we go deep into history or in the records of Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings won't be free from.
Of course not. He's not flawless.
I didn't get you well.
I say, if we were to dissect the records of Cummings.
No, Mr. Cummings has not been mentioned in war business.
Come on. Look, so
you want to show me something?
So the history of the Liberian Civil War is exhaustive. And why you didn't see, because you didn't see it didn't exist. Oh, we're not there yet.
What was the part he played you know of?
We discuss that another time.
No, we need to know because you're saying these things because the people want to have a peaceful rally, and that's the reason why you want to brand Mr. Cummings today as a supporter of the war in the country.
Mr. Cummings was and is a very close friend of Charles Taylor, business friend at that rate. We have research. Mr. Cummings knows. Come on. We have research. Mr. Cummings knows where some of the wealth of Mr. Taylor are heading. Yeah. I know.
This is a breaking news.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, so
that opens the chapter for another debate. That opens the chapter for another
debate.
It's
a very big allegation, though.
Well, no, these are not just big allegations based on presumptions. The second thing is, to be a president of Liberia, you must be constitutionally upright. You must have all the standing within constitutional provisions. I'm not very clear.
Is Mr. Cummings?
I'm not very sure. I'm not very sure whether or not Mr. Cummings is not a foreign citizen of another country. I'm not very sure of that. I'm not very sure whether Mr. Cummings is a Liberian. Natural Liberian. Hold on. I'm a former immigration commissioner. Natural Liberian. The Constitution is very clear. Who can become president and vice president of Liberia?
The only thing I
very
know
clear.
of is the recent dual citizenship issue that was passed by the legislature. Portion of it, they said the presidency, the central bank, the finance minister, the defense minister, you cannot be a dual citizen to occupy those positions. Are you saying Mr. Cummings is an American citizen?
I'm telling you, the Constitution of Liberia provides you must be a natural-born Liberian.
Is Mr. Cummings not a natural-born Liberian?
Let me continue with the definition of what the Constitution says. To be a natural-born Liberian means not only must both of your parents be natural-born citizens of Liberia, you must have never relinquished your natural-born citizenship for the acquisition of another foreign citizenship, which then leads to the relinquishment of your natural citizenship. Now, if you were an American citizen and you came and reacquired Liberian citizenship by naturalization, you are a naturalized citizen, and you're not a natural born to become a president or vice president of this country. And I think President Cummings' records can be found in those intricacies in a real debate to come.
Let's go to the lines. We have with us the Secretary General of NDC in person of Mr. Abraham Mitchell. He's my guest tonight. we've been talking about lots of issues, particularly the issue that has to do with the upcoming rally. He feels that it is just not important to have such a rally. He's been providing us his thoughts on the program tonight. 07709079070 907-907-0880-907-907 0880-907-907 are the two local lines to join us on the program tonight. And for those of you out of Liberia wanting to form part, you can call us on the WhatsApp line on +231 770-907-907. We'll take our very first call. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, brother.
Go ahead, let's hear you.
I'm calling you from Oro.
Go ahead, Chief. No time. Go ahead.
All right, like what your student girls are just saying, that's the right thing. I said it happy. I just want to say this. It's just short. You see that John Yomi and Asise, no get to the life fast. It was Louis Brown. You know, one of their faster that night when that thing happened. They asked it. That John Yomi don't want to Asise went along. So because Asise was there, I said Louis Brown was in that meeting that day when they played that thing to do what they wanted to do. To Mr. Yomi, when Asise went along with his friend, but they wanted to disclose the information so they had the planking. With a friend, the executed and Louis Brown was the one. He was the main boom. You know, the pastor at that time. One of the presidents, the pastor to So I challenge you to say that loud. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's take another person. I will try to establish a contact with Mr. Brown and also the communication person from ANC concerning Mr. Cummings, the allegation. Hello.
Yeah, Sebu, how are you, my dear brother?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Sebu, I'm Lawrence Spencer. I'm in Johnson here as usual.
Okay, Lawrence, go ahead from the ANC.
You know, our dear voice of Liberia, we see our time is feeling. And you know,
my man, how you say that kind of a thing, my man? Who wasting your time and why you call for?
No, but Sebu,
so
Sebu, don't tell friend today, right? Because I think the essence of bringing guests on the show is to be serious.
No, also, you want to say, no, listen now, you can't say that now.
But for the man to be,
no, you need to respect our guests, please, brother. You can disagree, but let us do it in a much more respectful way, please.
All right. I will respect your show, so good, right? But even the citizen I hate with us coming God so much, yeah, I will never Ghana the very running around with it. Some of them will not agree with my main skill that say Mr. Cummings support that war, Mr. Cummings new weapon. I mean, I can it be so sentimental because the men disagree with your political issues. Your political issues. So is it how we want to run Liberia? That we dress somebody carried on in more simply because we have disagreement on issues. The other thing my man was fast to say is that the people advocate student leaders are the one who talking about people we can listen to them. But he also forgot that a student was born making Cameroon July 26 simply because they are gathered. Even the American body to say there's nothing to celebrate the country also have. So I don't know whether he forget about that so quickly.
Okay, thank you. Let me take this person. Hello.
Yeah, hello, hello, Sebu.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Rejesin, and I joined the conversation from Okawa.
Emmanuel, go ahead.
I heard someone saying that someone is dragging somebody's character in the mud. When people sit on the platform and accuse other people of no evidence, and they say, oh, today someone dragging someone's character in the mud. No. My issue here is this. If people gather on the 17th to protest, you are telling me right after the protest, nobody will support in Liberia. That's what the people are saying. Look, we form one this country will kill a lot of people. Everything that people accuse other president for, we form war, everything exists.
Okay, thank you. Let me take another person. It's so good. Let me take this person here. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Seku. How are you?
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you. This is the people's governor, district number 10 governor, Adamso A. Isaac, and I do join you from my comfort district from the Oro. Yeah, let me say, kudo to your studio guest. You know, he mean well for Mama Liberia. He said it right. I enjoy the question he asked you. The people, the need are the people you see for the protest. You say tired suffering. So we thought the way the government took over all of the protests you guys have been staging, and
They kind of festival season we in a truck of food supposed to be landlord down there to SKD, and with the money bags and things and helping the suffering people. But it's jealous to say the people are making mockery out of our people. Some of those people that will follow them because it's complete mockery. Can you imagine? You say somebody suffering. If I have a child and you say my child suffering, my child not going to school. What you should do? Get my child a semester. Help the suffering people. But instead of helping the suffering people, you carry them down there to go suffer them more. So they are the bad people. Thank you.
Okay, I hope if anyone listening or Mr. Louis Brown, you listening, we appreciate for you to call and provide some, clarity on some of the allegations against your person. Hello.
Hello, Seku.
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Paul Cooper, calling from Cartwell. Look, I was just born 1996, and here I am. I understand. I was quick to understand that protest, or rather, whatever you may call it, is an ingredient of democracy. Those are things that make democracy sweet. It is unfortunate that an elderly man who is 5 years older than me, who can be my grandfather, will sit on the radio and make it appear like protest has a specific time, to be conducted. Look, there's no specific time to conduct protest. When somebody wants to protest and they got an issue like they are seeing the child suffering, tell them, no, you're not suffering. Here are the evidence. If we're giving evidence how the child suffering, people are not able to send their kids to school. The protesting power of Liberia has been diminished under this man. And then you want to make it appear that protests are war. This is how you people mislead our people.
Thank you very much. This person on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Richard. I'm calling from Bandar City.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I want the few judge to just make something clear for me when it comes to me, it's not a real Liberia. And then how can we forbid it in the war?
Thank you. You will answer that. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, this is Captain Capper calling for Central people.
Let's hear you.
You see, I don't know how Liberians are looking at this country. Some Liberians are looking at this country like Louis Brown. Yes, some are you know what called do community or how they call it Central people, the water can't over us. Many years we've been sitting here. But I'm saying we're in power with all of the money that came in this country. We need water. When the water you can't over us. Our suffering, we cannot put it on anybody. That bro, people who say we are suffering, they are not even able to take up from here. They will want to look for their political glory. Tomorrow on Saturday, when the people go for the protest.
Thank you. This person. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Maurice Pastor, calling from Joe Communities. Yeah, thank you for the program. I always listen to you. Yeah. Mr. Louis Brown, people are very proper in the country. Somehow we are about 13 to 14, 15 years when we enter the country. So we saw what Mr. Brown is doing in the country. Today, we're on a EFBC, and 2 guys from one from the Water Party, one from the Unity Party, are committed. But staying away from the protest. The country, everything, none in the whole world, nothing is peaceful, nothing is easy, none. But Mr. Brown, nobody knows where they come from. We are all seeing Liberia. So, yeah, what are we suffering now? We're fighting war. We're going to say, we're going to for our family with eating it. Then why you can't that kind of rally? Why is they still on you?
Thank you. This person. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Seku.
Good evening.
Thank you, my brother. We will continue to pray for you. May God Almighty give you long life.
Inshallah.
May God Almighty advance you more than this.
Inshallah, my brother. Go ahead.
You know, I'm Usman Bayo. Anyway, I call you from the community. I'm one of your followers from Freedom FM up to now. It's hard for me to call. But what's something I wanted to say? Even though we're suffering, it's true we're suffering. But when the people take the money, what they're coming to give to the people for few hours, just a few hours. When they can take that money to go to Maryland, Grand Giga, Sano, Popolo, Kema, and look at the people who know that they don't have anything. You help them. It could be hard beg or in that 2-3 days, or either when they'll pray for you. Or you go to some of the school where you know that actually the people can afford and help them. Okay?
From time to time, like they'll be in a problem. Let us ask ourselves. No momentum or a protest or get momentum equal to June 7. You said more inside on FM that day from the morning to the evening, you were there on the daybreak. At the end of the day, high end.
Okay, thank you. This person. Hello. Oh, too bad. Hello.
Hello, Sego.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my son. That my from Johnsonville.
Come on, go ahead.
Thank you, Sego. And I tell you, brother, thank you in the studio. But when Louis Brown talk about we suffering Liberia, me, I had a father. The Bible say after God, I government. My father that job we are. If I suffering, since 2005, 2013, and 2017, I vote for job we are. And I suffering. We that suffering, according on everybody, that soon we go with our father to our IA. So all that has to be said. We that suffering our children can eat. You are not go there to embrace our father when we come with a sling. Thank you.
Oh, man. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Brother Seku.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I want to thank you ever so much. May the Almighty Allah bless you.
Inshallah, my brother.
Yeah. You know, Voice of Liberia is one of my stations I always like to listen. I want to say good to the still guests. Yeah, one thing I want to say here is that in the democratic space of this country, the organic law of this nation give all citizens the right to express their view. In that way, court lies now we're gone. But to express their view for the government to be able to address their plight. Moreover, for those who live in those community, that place in 1985, I was one of those who went to that place. And that place is a water area. So those who went there, they should not depend on government to come to pray for them. They saw it and went there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This person. Hello.
Hello, Seku.
Good evening.
So this is DJ Lumer. Let me say hi to your studio guest. Look, actually, the message, it is good. But those are presenting the message. That's the problem. Look, if they identical protest or the identical gathering, if they wanted to, it was going to invite all political parties or all stakeholders in the nation to come together and then come and have one decision, and for somebody else to come up with an identical statement, let somebody or other people to come on and say, oh, you come, all Liberian people, you come, let's go and petition the government that was suffering, it will be no problem. But Louis Brown, this identical gathering is just to show the strength that coming guys. That's what they want to do. And will not be stupid for me. I know things are not easy, but I will not go on an identical program that day because what they want to show the strength of
Lomas, the opposition man, that you talking that thing there?
I say, in how much the June 7, we petition everybody, all political parties to come, we sit on the table and we decide what to do. If our all are going to go, if our all Louis Banner are going to go and call and we sit down on the table, we're going to say, let Bongo be the spokesman. If you want Bongo to be the spokesman and say, people suffering, people will not come. People will come because they know the role you have been playing. But not the role that Louis Banner may play here. We know what it did chapter a day. We know what it did to Voice FM on early. They shut it down. We know how they gather police to go on early campus to beat on students. These kind of people can come out and say, and like something, then we agree to that. Even though we are all suffering, but I will not allow anybody to go on identical to show the strength of coming. That's what they want to do. Thank you, my brother.
Okay, this person, they mean an opposition male, DJ Loma. Hello.
Yes, Richardson, I'm on the line, but
Richardson, please, we have too many calls. Let me give you a few seconds.
Yeah, what I was saying to Seku, we agree the people of Liberia, some of them are saying that they are suffering. Now, the money that Honorable Kumi taking, look, this man has spent thousands of dollars to rally people to go and agriculture and protest. If you were taking that money to help small Palestine, I think most of them they will not suffer. But you cannot take that money. You renting set, passing from community to community, you getting group money to print t-shirt, all that money. So I don't really get it. I believe Kumi only try to prove to the world that maybe he gets small followers. I don't want to believe that Kumi is really sincere with this thing that yes, because suffering has been here. Look,
okay, thank you, my brother. Let me take another person. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Also to be looking for in the whole bring the letter guy educate our people. My brother, thank you. The only thing I get is Papa, thank you. May God bless you.
Okay. Is I'm go be looking for the any Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The vision if you call yesterday. You remember what I told you yesterday?
Please remind me.
I told you about Louis Brown, what he did. I got some of blind today. And the brother Hakan Institute, the man has just elaborated on it. Those people, they are not people that are good for our country. Those people never came to help us. You just hear what they say? The money you pay the complex to rent that area, you should use that money to pay people's school fees. You should use that money to put food on people's table. But you use it to go protest. At the end of the day, you leave the people with hunger. Let them leave us.
Thank you, my brother. This person, let me take this person. I'm going to take 2 more calls. We call it a day. Hello.
Good evening, Sekou.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to the many listeners of Liberia. My name is Collie from Sitopa, and I call you this morning from Pinsville. Let me appreciate you for your deliberation and your studio guest. I'm constrained to call on the basis of the last statement the brother made in studio before you start taking call. That although I'm not supporting an argument, although I'm against am I going against the argument? But the issue is, he made a statement that Kumi is not a natural lab citizen of the not a natural born citizen of our country. That's the argument. But if you check our history, many of our presidents who serve as president of our country, and most of them they have dual citizenship. So it should not be issue what Kumi is a natural born citizen of our country. It's not an issue. Although that's
Oh, you left the line. Hope you'll call us back, my brother. But I think let me take this person down. Take one more call. I call it a day. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, let me give you information of Kumi citizenship. Kumi is from Togo. He's from Togo. You're Togolese. You know Liberian. Let Kumi go to Wole and show me the farm that his father made.
My man,
Kumi is from Togo.
I can say all kinds of things too. I used to remember from Togo. I've been looking at Togo, man.
Come here, Togo, man.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How you doing?
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead.
This is Lawrence Way, and I call you from St. Paul. Let me comment. My senior brother is still you. Let me say that you see, when you are wanting something, you cannot wish on that something to destruction. You want a leadership, you want to take leadership, but you want the next leadership that is in power to be destroyed, or the person like that to be. You are doing everything to destroy that person, which is wrong. You know, one thing he said, I read a comment. You see, David, Nathan told him, he said, they will go and kill Saul. David said, I cannot do that because he's an anointed man. Everyone that is in leadership is anointed. So when you want to take that place, take your own time how to take that person out. Thank you, my brother. God bless you.
Thank you very much. This person. Hello.
Hello. How are you? People here, guys. I just want to make this thing short. I don't know why people take this one democratic right of these people so much for the past week. Louis Brown died suffering. And the last question I want to ask your studio guest, which side was he on during the civil war?
Okay, this person. Hello.
Yeah.
Too bad. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Sekou.
Good evening.
Yeah, I come from Banos and Emmanuel Cooper.
Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah, firstly, I want to thank the studio guest so much. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see, because Liberian people need the historicity about the formation about this guy, their interaction before and during the Civil War. Because if we don't provide this kind of information, the people living at the detriment of the Liberian people out of ignorance and stupidity. Sorry to say that, but I have to say it because the man is educating them. The lawyers explain in studio clearly. I've listened to him. So I want to commend him so much. Bring that man back into the studio. Let it Louis Brown, let all the people that can't face that man. Thank you, Sekou.
This person, the last caller now. I don't. Hello. I won't take another call again. This person will be the last call. You the lucky caller. Hello.
Yeah, brother Teku.
Go ahead.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah, the visually impaired who called you yesterday, you gave me a number. I tried calling the number. They say I missed the number. So can you please help me again?
0770.
Yes, I'm 0770
94 2048.
7 what?
2048.
Oh, 2048.
Yeah. Okay, this person. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, this is Nathaniel Queen. I'm calling from Power. I just that man in our studio. This is the same man who stand and fought with Babu in Aroko. We I've been with you from that area. All I want to say.
I didn't get you. Hello, I didn't get you. Can you repeat yourself, please?
Okay, I said that man who in the studio. That man I stand.
What the man name?
The Abraham man in our studio there.
What his full name?
I'm telling you now because
hey my man, I gave you time. I'm asking you.
Yeah, but not for me. The first thing I know about. You know, tell me. That
so what he did?
He said that the same people that stand war in here that stand the mother war in Arugo with Babu that one. What are they to do there?
Okay, thank you very much. He will respond to that. You listen to all the calls. Mr. Michel, you want to say something to them?
I like to thank the callers for and against for their views, their patience, and their time to participate in this dialogue and make their contributions. For me, I call it a day. If you look at the views expressed from the radio, it's clear that the Liberian people have come to know what is beneath the veil. The veil is when a woman is getting married, the veil is what covers her face. And before she and her husband can exchange the bride, she removes the veil from on the face. So these conversations have pierced the veil, and the people of Liberia have come to a very large extent to understand the characters who are in this business of a campaign to play on the emotions of the Liberian people, to play, to use their suffering for political dividends through demagoguery by playing on their vulnerabilities and trying to castigate other people. Now, politically, if you want to succeed, please do not succeed on the grave of your adversary. You work constructively. You work educating the people, not playing on their emotions. And that is the problem of many politicians. For you, and that's the issue in the developed countries. They have in the developed countries the ruling party, the oppositions, the various parties. They operate by institutions. They have programs. They have agenda. They can be reached, and they exist for all times, and they are not seasonal. Now, for God's sake, in Liberia, the socio-economic and political problems of Liberia, lack of jobs, weak economy, a day functional economy, an economy in which, for example, under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf regime, there was $16 billion of direct foreign investment brought by people to invest in the country. But when you have an economy in which you have a volume of foreign direct investment to the tune of $16 billion, and your economy cannot even raise the revenue budget of $1 billion for the government to build roads and other things, that's a contradiction. My position about the suffering of the Liberian people is not a matter of George Weah, and that when you remove George Weah, then the suffering ceases to exist. That's deceitful, and that is what I don't like. President Talbot was removed from power. President Doe was removed from power. Ellen Kim, she served her term. Unemployment in this country remains our greatest difficulties. Compare us to Guinea, compare us to La Côte d'Ivoire, compare us to Ghana. We are having a major problem with our economy. And it is the way in which our economy is arranged from the time of Barclay, from the time of Tottenham, from the time of the True Party, and the destruction of the country by the war, all the infrastructure. These are the things that have got our economy. And I said the last time, take for example, 3 years from now, but when we get in 2023, we'll get in 2023, from 2023 to 2026, that's 3 years. By 2026, Firestone will be 100 years in Liberia. Firestone doing what? Firestone only planting natural rubber, tapping latex, shipping it to America. They don't have any factory yet. They don't fix gloves. They don't fix buckets. They don't fix gaskets and other things.
But it is the government that you are part of.
It is the government. Listen, that's why I said, technically speaking, as I said to you, in 2017, I didn't even vote for President Weah. I voted for Vice President Boakai. I campaigned for Boakai. You understand? That is the extent of the situation. But I'm trying to historicize the economic problem of Liberia. We have the first iron ore mining company we have in Liberia was LMC, 1956. Talbot gave that iron ore company to an American colonel.
Okay, Mr. Michel, we don't want to go into all of that.
All right.
Next guest.
All right, the next guest come. What I'm trying to say.
Let's conclude.
The suffering of the Liberian people is fundamentally contingent on the failed economic system that we have, and
it is not unique to a government.
It's not unique to a regime or a president. And the only way we can fix the Liberian economy and be very close to La Côte d'Ivoire, where the people have factories and industry working, and their GDP in Ghana. Ghana is not producing rubber, but Ghana has rubber factory. Liberia has the largest rubber plantation in the world, 1 million acres of land owned by Firestone. But governments upon government have come and gone. Nobody has the balls. Nobody has the balls to confront Firestone and to make Firestone do the kind of things that Firestone needs to do, that will give the government sufficient revenue to build the country. This is where the country is.
In short, as we conclude tonight on the program, how do you term the Saturday rally of the CPP?
The Saturday rally is just a manipulation.
Sorry?
It's a manipulation. By the way,
how do you term it?
It's a manipulation. Okay. It's a scheme to and many of the callers told you, it's a scheme to play on the emotions of the people, take advantage of their suffering, to make mockery of their suffering, and it is a scheme to show whether or not Mr. Comey is a popular leader. These are all machinations. These are all ploys. They are not in good faith. It's not really intended for good campaign purposes. Okay. And the party should do better if it wants to really win the hearts and minds of the people for 2023.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abraham Michel. Is there anything you want to say before we let you go?
Yeah. I'm happy that you invited me for this conversation. I don't really like to be in the business or engaging in personal attacks on people in political processes and what have you. But when the political situation lends itself to critical review of the records of characters who present themselves to be angels, when the situation provokes itself, then we got to go into the closets, and then we have to see the skeletons in the closet, and then we got to dissect these skeletons and know whether or not they have moral rectitude to talk about the suffering of the Liberian people.
Okay.
That's the point.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Our doors are open to you. We'll have you on many occasions to talk about some critical national issues in our country.
Thank you so much, Sekou. And this is my first time meeting you. My first time coming to your studio.
Okay.
And I appreciate you guys are doing well.
Okay.
Very fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, too.
We remain committed and open to the Liberian people.
Thank you.
Okay, he's the Secretary General of NDC in person of Abraham Mitchell. He's being my guest. We're taking a break, and then we return. We're going to have of us Mr. McAvee. He's a Harvard specialist. He has something very important that he wants to say to Liberians, and I do really encourage him to explain all these things to Liberians. My name is Sekou. You're listening to the program Issues of Today right here on Voice of Liberia. We're taking a break and we'll play you this. We want to tell you about Telecel, the best internet service in Liberia. And let's take this message from Telecel on the program tonight.
We can help you keep up. Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399. Or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telecelliberia.com. Email us at info@telecelliberia.com. Telecel Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. Telecel Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
I want to flex my love. I want to bless.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399. Or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telecelliberia.com. Email us at info@telecelliberia.com. Telecel Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. Telecel Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
I want to flex my love. I want.
Okay, so after that message, and I want to encourage you, for those of you wanting to do or wanting to get the best internet in Liberia, Telecel we can recommend to you is the best in Liberia, and it gives you everything it takes, everything you need to get a very good internet in the country. Evidence of what we ourselves are experiencing. We want to encourage you, those of you out there maybe thinking about how to get a very strong internet and want to do a business. It is very fast. It is the fastest internet in the country, and is very affordable, and it is very easy. Go there and you have the best in terms of internet you want to get in the country. Okay, now we have of us Mr. I want you to call your full name first of all. Good evening.
Good evening, Sekou. Well, my name is Mr. J. Akmaki McConvey. A historical name.
Mr. J. Akma McCanvey.
Yeah, let me just explain it a better manner so that people can understand why it is J. McCanvey. Where I was
Come
born,
close to the
I
microphone.
was born into the union of Mr. Jiba Kuma, okay, and Madam McCanvey Kone. Based on the historical state with my mother and the manner in which she fought to have me as sister, I decided to use her name as my last name, so that to historicalize her name.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to the program tonight. And we've invited you based on your communication you sent to me personally. And I've always gained interest in providing a platform, extending the needed assistance to Liberians when they are involved into good initiatives. The people are listening to you tonight. I want you to introduce yourself. What do you do for a living?
Well, thank you very much, Sekou. My name is J. Akmake McCanvey, once more. And as a national herbalist, I'm a Liberian herbalist who have been working all times trying to produce, to control critical diseases that the world is concerned about. And through that, I think I can boastfully say that God has given me something that the world are in search of, or the world is in search of. That is the cure for diabetes, pressure, rheumatism, typhoid, and so forth. All right. After these things, I practice it.
How long you say you are what?
I'm a Liberia herbal specialist.
Okay, herbal specialist.
Mm-hmm.
How long? Let's take our time so that those of the people listening, how long you've been doing this?
I've been working on the herbal field for over 25 years now.
So how do you do it?
Well, before, let me just get to the beginning, the fundamental aspect of the herbalism that I started. In school, I decided to do medicine before. But because of the unfortunate situation, no support, I dropped out of school for some time. All right? In the process, I was behind my brother. We used to move around doing medicine for people. Okay, I was doing study on the informal level. All right? While through the process, he taught me a lot, even though. But there was certain things that were given me from him, and he never knew how he managed. All right? That is the medicine that can take care of emergency matter. And he begins, I asked him, about, hey, show me something. He said, no, I don't know much about. I said, okay, I'm coming. I provided the medicine, and he came to himself.
Okay.
Begin to ask me, he said, what's that? I said, but you show me this thing. So before I show it to you now, you had to touch down, pay the price. But however, it's a medicine that God sent to me directly. Besides that, with regard to the diabetes and pressure, I began to go through study.
When you say study, what do you mean? Do you
in search of medication that can deal with such situation?
You do a research about
research,
it, or
yes. I do research because we do compilation of medicine from the herbal level.
Okay.
Okay, I began to combine certain medication to produce result of certain critical diseases. All right,
like
goa, pressure, diabetes, impotencies, and so forth.
Pressure.
Yeah, pressure that people suffer.
Have you treated someone before pressure?
Definitely, and in a month I get over it.
What about diabetes?
Diabetes, I treat from diabetes because these are sicknesses our people call it comorbidity in the hospital. From malaria, typhoid, rheumatism, pressure, diabetes. Right? These are sicknesses our doctors call a comorbidity. They didn't got a solution for it. The world had me got to understand that there is no solution for it. So I began to take the challenge that what the world had decided that, or giving us information that there is no solution for it. If I'm able to provide a solution for it, I think I will become a billionaire in the world. So I began to work towards it. as a poor man, going through that, God showed me the solution to find. And I have tried several occasions. I work with it. And this is what I'm living on. Despite I have not established a full institution here.
But they said pressure, they don't have medication for pressure. You can just take it to live with it. They don't have cube, for pressure. Diabetes. But you have them?
Segu, you see, pressure is a disease. First of all, you must define what they call pressure or what makes pressure, what constitutes pressure. Pressure is a disease that established from the intestines. All right? While consuming, sometimes you feel like your stomach is tight. Constipation. You're now visiting the bathroom constantly. You try to develop pressure. Pressure try to get into your system. One, that system, that cold that have entered your system, it leave penetrating and enter your blood. It have become a pressure. Sometimes you will lay down the cold that have entered the blood, now it becomes spiritual matter. To leave it for you now, I say you go through spiritual means.
But how pressure can go to spiritual business?
Thank you very much. Pressure, you see, there are certain leaves, they are spiritual. Like for instance, the guy some kind of grass that when you touch it, it falls by itself. You have seen it before. Several times.
I don't know about
outside. There are tons of grass. It gets torn on it. It can always be outside. You touch it, it falls by itself. These are things we deal with. Okay? Like for instance, the root I'm dealing with, if at all I prepare that root according to the required prayer that you're supposed to deal with and add to it, God will answer it. God promised you, scientificism is nothing but religious reason. When you offer your services to God, God will find solution and God will direct you to the solution of the problem. So the pressure that you see, so when you enter the blood now, to take it from there, except you
come close to the
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Except you use the spiritual root.
Take the microphone off you some more. Okay, go ahead.
Except you use the spiritual root to
I don't want us to take this thing to spiritual. I want to know about the actual medication you carry out.
Okay.
Let's leave the spiritual aspect of it. That is not. But you talk about because I'm being specific, and it is some of the sicknesses that are giving a lot of people problems in the country. You talk about pressure, you talk about diabetes. How do you go about curing a pressure patient?
Thank you very much, Sekou. The pressure patient, when I come across you and realize that you get the pressure, it's a tea that I prepare. A herbal tea that I prepare. This herbal tea, after preparation, I administer it into your system. When you enter your system, it will absorb the cold that has entered your blood that continue to create blockade within the veins, creating that system called pressure. Will absorb that cold from your blood, and your blood will be released to freely flow through your system.
How long does it take when you are treating a pressure patient?
Well, some pressure patients, a week, some 2 weeks maximum, most often.
And at the end of the day, they don't come down with pressure any longer?
No, Segu. Sometimes you will still come back because this pressure, what we call pressure, is something that will come from the consumption that we carry on sometimes.
The food and other things.
Yeah, because the food you eat, it's just like you eat in a dish, and sometimes after certain time you got to clean that dish. If you do clean a dish, it will send some bad result to your system. All right, this is how our system looks. According to the living law of herbalism, every 3 months, as a mature person now who have reached 40 years, you must visit your herbalist that will take care of those substances from your system. And when you give the herb, if you have pressure, it will release you from that pressure. All right?
I want us, the thing here is, someone that has been suffering for pressure for maybe 20, 30 years, maybe 15, 10 years. How do you cure such a person?
Just a same process. I will just start administering the herbs in you. The maximum the pressure is when the drugs get into your system, when the herb get into your system, just how it will absorb. When you absorb it, it turns it to liquid, a slumpy liquid that you will go latrine with it. When you go in latrine with it, you will see that pressure, the result of your body. The body, the temperature will tell you that you are going out of the precious disease. Nobody will tell you. But before then, I start treating you. I will ask you to bring your medical report on the disease affecting you. When you bring your medical report on the disease that affecting you, then I will prepare the form that you will sign into that form. We started the treatment. After the treatment, I have completed my treatment. I will send you back to the clinic or the hospital that gave you the detected disease in your body to give you their clearance if at all that disease now no more exists in your body. They will give you the clearance before.
So what about diabetes?
That's the same thing. They are the same system.
How many days or how many weeks do you treat diabetes for?
Diabetes maximum 3 weeks. Maximum 3 weeks. Yeah.
So what about gas in the system and some other difficult sicknesses?
Well, some of it is an emergency, and we treat it according to emergency service because when it is like something that affecting you or infecting you, giving you uncomfortable existence, there are some medication I call it antivirus in my herbal speech because it overcomes any virus infection in your system. Even if you are going to coma, when I give you the antiviral, it will destroy that coma infection because sometimes the breath will not be breathing properly, you will not be breathing properly. It will open your breath system and make it normal. After you are open your breath system and make it normal, and you are giving your conscience before I start administering the pressure or the diabetes medicine to eliminate the pressure on the diabetes from your system. Equally so I do it on stroke, and I bring you back.
Do you also look at stroke?
Yes, that's the same family. And the same treatment. The maximum you treat, it go away. These are contaminated diseases that have sat in your system that it need to be excreted from your system. And once you continue to take it away, your ability to move will become to be restored. Body pain. Some people now they are not in peace. But there's a herbs that are produced that the moment I gave you, within that few, let's say 30 minutes time, you're bringing your peaceful existence of your body. You see? Like why you see a lot of people walking with pain in the foot, dragging their foot with one leg in the street. These are all pressure.
And you kill all these sicknesses.
I kill all these sicknesses, Sekou.
Are you certificated by the Ministry of Internal Affairs? Are they aware of what you do?
Thank you very much. That question is a fine question.
Are you licensed by the government or the Ministry of Internal Affairs?
I have never received a documentary lesson.
Why have you gone there to learn?
I went there. This is why I say I never received a documentary lesson. Okay. The process was going on because the gentleman I went to, he's a clerk to Honorable Janga, the minister. All right. And he told me, we hold $50 for the whole year as a certificate to give to people, but they had differences of certificate. According to information that I gathered later, people that do herbalism, they are not entitled to certificate. They are entitled to ID card from the Internal Affairs. Now the ID card is not even expensive. I want to get a guy $30 instead of $50. And he took it, he said, Mama, just be over already. And the bag he called me, so we just on that. In the meantime,
you say you can cure all these things. Well, where do you have your operation site?
Well, Sekou are doing mobile service now because I have not established a particular center.
Okay.
I'm doing mobile service. You get my number, you call my number. If there's And a way for me to get to you through the arrangement, I get to you and service you, and then you pay the service cost.
Or you go to people to work, provide them the medication, right?
I'll do that.
Okay. So you say you're doing these things in Debbie-ish, because there are the sicknesses you're talking about. The sicknesses where people find difficulties in solving. Okay, this is the treatment form for diabetes, pressures, rheumatism, typhoid, tuberculosis, and stroke. Okay, this is the form. People fill in. Give your numbers, announce your numbers. Maybe people listening will want to get in contact with you.
My number is 0776 02 7197. You get my company.
Say it again.
0776 02 7197. You will get me.
Okay, let's go to the lines now and take calls. 0770-907-907. For those of you, maybe you have some of the problems and you listen to him, you could call and maybe talk to him, and you have the better time to 0770-907-907, 0770-907-907. This person. Hello.
Good
evening.
Let me say a quick thing to my brother. Let me say a quick thing to your my name is Mohammed Kane. Mohammed M. Kane Jr. I speak to you from Tuesday 16, will be sad. But I saw the best that is going to be jolly. Let me applaud your student again. I have one or two questions for him.
Go ahead. Ask the questions. You want to take the questions down? Write the questions. Go ahead.
Yeah. One have to do because it may measure about the pressure now. Okay, because we will notice that the pressure can also claim even in the eye, okay, in the brain. Okay, and that cause or a glaucoma. So I don't know whether you also have or ideas on that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This person. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. I'm Ajay Kama, call from Copper's Farm, District 1. Yeah, okay. I want to say thanks to the senior guest there. I think he explained well, and I will back him. These things are got cute. Like the grass he talked about, like he tells you, course, it's not good. And for a lot of things, this is why in simple saying, people can say when you're taking it for different purpose, you're leaving it there for another purpose, for different person. So, even that grass he's talking about, you can still use as same grass. And I even have a simple thing that I can give you, that even if the gas is in your intestine, I'll give you less than 30 minutes. Well, chesting, everything, it will disappear for good. So the thing
you say what? You gave you what? Gas?
I said, even if you have gas in your intestine, if I give you a little thing that I know, I'll give you less than 30 minutes, you will not suffer for gas. Easily again. Even if a chest pain. But you know,
give me your penny. Listen.
People use these things. Use these things.
Give your number. Listen, give your number. 0770
41 68 26
21
41 6826
41
68
68 26.
Ajay is my name. So what I'm telling you is these are the same things people make tablets and other medication order. But we are not selling these things. So we never run to the hospital, go listen to read. And we listen to learn. We don't want to do good to people, but to teach all things. That one, let's be but these things they are here.
Okay, thank you. Let me take this person too. Hello.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, Bangladesh,
but move from your monitor now. We'll beg you. Go ahead.
I want to know what are the main health treatment for if someone has liver problem, hepatitis.
Okay. If you have medication for hepatitis B or hepatitis C?
Hepatitis B.
Okay. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mohammed, go ahead.
Yeah, my father got a pressure man for almost 1 year now. He get work good. So I want to add this speaker again. What I get that.
Okay, you should be listening. The man will call his number again, so you will take it. Yeah. Okay, this person. Hello.
Yeah, Brother.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, your students also have ideas concerning about asthma too.
Asmon. Yeah, he
Yeah,
said he will explain that. He said yes. Okay, he will announce his number. Let me take. Too bad. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I want to know where he lives.
Okay, he will. You want to know where he lives?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, he will announce that before he leaves the show. He will announce his number as well.
Okay.
All right, this person. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening.
I'm okay, Chief.
Okay, I'm calling from Bombay. My name is Vanin Tala from Bombay County, Clay District. I got his number. I just want you to call his number and name phone him so again. So the number and go with that in private.
Okay, he will do that. Yeah. Okay. This person. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Tebu. Can you please ask us if you're wearing a tweet cataract?
Eh?
Cataract.
Okay. Okay. He said no. Okay, you will answer that as well. Hello. Hello. Okay, I'll take another person. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Tebu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for your time. Also, your guest. I just want to know if somebody had to see the baby the good hospital and say no, you have his voice. Someone to that in the operation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Let me hold your calls now. Yeah, the calls you're listening to what he will say. All the calls that are coming, you hold your calls because we need to go. We need to go for the news. I beg you, hold your calls. Yeah. And you listen to the concerns the folks raise, even though we can't take all the calls because of the news.
Well, thank you very much.
You can do Appetite B.
This Appetite B, we can do it.
Okay.
We can do it. God willing, that person problem will be solved. And then Mohammed Cannon talk about the eye, the glaucoma on the eye. The only thing we can do now, we can sometimes provide help that can suspend the continual infection against the eye. And then if God help you, maybe it will be cleaning it by itself now. But the suspended of the infection that going to the eye that causing the blindness, we can eliminate that aspect from there. Besides that, I think somebody talked about appetite. Well, I think I addressed that. Furthermore, I just want to say this: the whole world is in search of this treatment. All right, God has given us this service in this country. You know, Liberia is full of history making. This story this development God has given me, I have walked to a lot of hospitals, including JFK. Guess what happened, Sekou? When I went to JFK not too long ago, I think this week, the beginning of this week, a gentleman was showing to me as a doctor. When I walked to that gentleman and told him, oh man, I see the people dying from diabetes and pressure in the hospital here. Can you allow me to try at least test my ability because I got idea of recovering people from this fee, from this illness. Can you allow me apply one or two patients here? The gentleman said, okay, go to that other fellow and tell him. When I went there, he the head doctor now, according to information that day. He walked behind me, he went, he said, Kerry, man, if you treat the people now, you must tell me they make all the security to pull him out of the compound. I look at him up and down. I said, oh, but the gentleman appear in the kind of costume, wear dress up, the kind of behavior he got here. Yeah, but unfortunately, Sekou, people are dying, people are in need of help. Then you telling me that I'm going to do that? Of course, if you're going to carry me, they are going to perform one or two things that are going to be surprising to them. Seriously.
Okay, so you want to give your location. Where do you reside?
Well, where I reside, I don't do work there. As I told you, I want to establish a center in this country. I went to even JFK, they could find me an area there for me to be sitting there so that we could do work together. But they are denying me, so
okay, so give your numbers now.
My number is 077.
Take your time so that people listening will take your number so that they will call you and get you.
You can call me on a number called 0776 02 71
71
97.
97. Repeat it again.
0776 02 71
97.
And you will get Mr. McCanvey.
Okay.
If you can call the name Mr. McCanvey have for
Hey,
you.
that one part leaving now. When they call you, they will just so that one and okay. Is there any message you want to give out?
The only message I want to give out is that there is a need that we that found ourselves on the medical field to work together for the common good of our people. If we decided that medical will be different from us, we don't cooperate, we don't coordinate as the way the Ghanaian, the Nigerian are doing in their country, in this Liberia, we will experience a lot of losses from our people. Thank you very much.
Okay, before you go, you get all your medicine from the bush, and do you use some quick medicine like the common man will say?
Yeah, quick medicine. I will do quick medicine. We will take some down quick medicine. Sometimes I can study the sickness. If I want a certain thing there, I want to make it effective, so that I apply 1 or 2, so that okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Our doors are open to you. We'll continue to have these kinds of conversations. Thank you, Mr. McCanvey.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, he's Mr. McCanvey. You're listening to him there. That's all the time we've got to be on the program. Earlier on, you're listening to Abraham Michel, the Secretary General of NDC. Yeah. For those of you that took Mr. McCanvey's number, you can call him for whatsoever problems you want to explain to him, and you guys can start from there. My name is Sekou Sharif, and before we go home, let me tell you again, for those of you wanting to have a very strong and a very good internet service, I'm recommending to you tonight and every time you can do with Telecel. It is the best internet service in the country, and it is affordable as well. It gives you all you need in terms of internet service and the fastest speed, everything you're going to have it. Go to Telecel and do business with Telecel, and you will not regret.
Optimal, premium, elite, and big business that suits kids, universities.